October 20th, 2025, 3:42 p.m. local time. The South China Sea is clear, with excellent visibility and gentle 2-foot swells rolling across deep blue water. The USS John Finn, DDG-113, an Arleigh Burke-class destroyer, cuts through the surface at 19 knots. Her assignment is straightforward: carry out a routine freedom of navigation transit through international waters. It is the kind of mission that has happened many times before, until this moment. Inside the Combat Information Center, radar operators pick up 2 large surface contacts moving in quickly from the northwest. Range: 24 nautical miles. Bearings: 301 and 328 degrees. Their speed climbs past 26 knots. The system marks them automatically as Track Sierra 09 and Track Sierra 12. The shapes taking form on radar are clearly not fishing boats, and they are not civilian escorts. They are naval ships. Chinese Type 52D destroyers, Luoyang 3-class vessels, each equipped with 64 vertical launch cells. The officer of the deck breaks the silence. Bridge, CIC. 2 contacts confirmed. No AIS. No light signal. Speed steady. Bearing converging. The captain responds in a calm, even voice. Maintain course, maintain posture, record everything. The first radio call goes out in English, then in Mandarin. Chinese naval vessel. This is a United States warship conducting lawful transit in international waters. Alter course immediately to avoid unsafe approach. No answer comes back. Only static, only silence. Minutes pass and the atmosphere grows heavier. The Electronic Warfare Suite, SLQ-32VT6, quietly scans the airwaves. Weak radar emissions return from the Chinese destroyers. Type 364 surface search radar, active sweep mode. In CIC, a technician reports, "They're watching us, Captain. Not locking on, just watching." "Good," the captain says. "Let them see professionalism on deck." Sailors remain at their stations. A camera turret rotates, zooming across the bright, glittering water. Through powerful lenses, hull numbers come into focus: 172 and 175. Kunming and Changsha, 2 steel shapes rising out of the horizon. The bridge radio crackles again. CPA under 5 nautical miles. No response to second hail. The officer of the deck looks out over the bow. Sunlight slices across the horizon like a blade. The sea is almost too calm, the kind of calm that seems to carry a message. On the bridge, tension stays just beneath the surface. Voices remain controlled, procedures precise. Every sailor knows the routine. No one overreacts and no one guesses. Every word, every movement, every radar sweep is recorded. Because in contested waters, information becomes the first layer of protection. At 3:51 p.m., the 2 ships tighten their approach. One shifts slightly north, the other south, forming a classic intercept wedge. The OOD reports it in a steady, clipped tone. CPA decreasing. Both ships on parallel vectors maintain ROE Phase 1. The captain orders passive observation only. The phrase sounds clinical, but the meaning is clear. Stay composed, keep watch, and do not make the first mistake. Above deck, the air carries salt and turbine exhaust. Below deck, the low hum of electronics fills the CIC, the steady pulse of a destroyer prepared for anything but committed to restraint. Crew members exchange brief glances. No one needs to say anything. They know this pattern. A pressure test, a probe, a reminder that calm at sea is never guaranteed. At 3:55 p.m., the range closes to 14 nautical miles. The tension does not break, it sharpens. Heat haze begins to ripple along the horizon, and through binoculars, the sharp angles of the Chinese destroyers emerge like gray mirages of steel. The captain leans forward, elbows resting on the chart table, eyes fixed on the radar display. "Let them show intent," he says quietly. "We'll show control." The sea still looks calm from the outside, but every sailor aboard John Finn can feel the shift. This is no longer routine. It is the beginning of something more deliberate, more measured, more calculated. At 3:57 p.m. local time in the South China Sea, USS John Finn continues at 19 knots, holding to her lawful transit route through international waters. But the situation has changed. The 2 Chinese Type 52D destroyers, Kunming 172 and Changsha 175, are no longer distant contacts. They are closing with deliberate, synchronized precision. From the bridge windows, the ocean no longer feels wide open. The horizon has narrowed into a moving field of gray steel. Two silhouettes push through the waves, white foam building under their bows. Their approach angles tighten to the edge of safety. Projected closest point of approach, 2.7 nautical miles. The officer of the deck's voice cuts through the steady hum of the ship. CPA under 3 miles, Captain. Both vessels are still holding intercept vectors. No change. The captain answers in the same calm, controlled tone. Copy. Maintain course. Passive posture. Let the record reflect it. All across the ship, sensors are alive with activity. Radar arrays, electro-optical systems, infrared imagers. The SLQ-32 V6 electronic warfare suite continues tracking the emissions coming from both destroyers. X-band surface search mode. No fire control lock, no direct weapons queuing, not yet. Inside CIC, the crew moves with practiced precision. Screens glow with streams of data. Range rings, radar returns, bearing lines. A complex grid of signals, positioning, and split-second calculations. Bridge CIC, contact steady on heading 145. Both showing slight bearing drift. Lead vessel adjusted 3 degrees to port. The captain's expression hardens. That's a squeeze maneuver. A squeeze maneuver means one vessel edges inward just enough to pressure the other ship and limit its room to maneuver. It is a signal in itself, and it needs no translation. Maintain ROE Phase 1, the captain says evenly. No response. No deviation. Record all visuals. Forward, the Mark 45 5-inch gun begins a slow, deliberate turn, 5 degrees to starboard. Not to target, not to threaten, simply to be noticed. On the bridge wing, the metallic whir carries through the still air. The movement is precise, by the book, a visible deterrent posture. Sunlight flashes off binocular lenses on the Chinese decks. They notice it. That is exactly the point. Above, on the flight deck, the MH-60R Seahawk crew moves into Condition 1 readiness. Rotors unfold, fuel lines disconnect, power systems come alive. Within minutes, the helicopter lifts off, climbing to 600 feet and circling to port. Its FLIR system locks onto the Chinese destroyers, sending sharp real-time imagery back to CIC. Visual confirmation, hull numbers 172 and 175. Crew visible on deck, weapons not manned. The Seahawk's green laser designator flashes twice across the lead destroyer's bridge. A non-lethal warning signal. 2 measured pulses, steady and unmistakable. A clear message without a word spoken. We see you. On the FLIR feed, sailors aboard Kunming react. A brief pause, then subtle movement. Helmets catch the afternoon sun. No gestures, no reply, only awareness. In CIC, the tactical watch officer updates the display. CPA holding at 2.7. Both vessels on parallel headings. No fire control emissions detected. Copy, the captain says. Maintain passive observation. Over the comms, the Seahawk pilot checks in. Visual tracking confirmed. Wake pattern tight. They're mirroring our course. Deliberate intercept formation. Back on the bridge, the atmosphere is tense but controlled. The officer of the deck wipes condensation from the glass, eyes fixed forward. The captain stands beside the radar repeater, one hand resting on the brass edge of the console. They want us to flinch, he says quietly. We won't. The wakes of the Chinese destroyers now run nearly parallel, separated by less than 3 cables. The symmetry feels unsettling, almost staged. Then CIC reports another shift. Captain, new emissions detected. Radar mode change, surface tracking. Higher frequency, approximately 4.1 gigahertz. Copy, the captain replies. They're measuring. Range profile, response. Outside, the Seahawk hangs in the golden light, quiet but commanding, recording every move below. Its camera catches the bow wave of the lead destroyer, spray curling upward and sparkling like shattered glass. Bridge to flight ops, the captain radios. Maintain orbit pattern. Do not cross their line. Show presence, not provocation. Roger that, John Finn. Maintaining 0.7 nautical mile offset. On deck, the crew holds position. The .50 caliber mounts are manned. Safety's on, gunners perfectly still. A picture of readiness without aggression. In naval terms, this is deterrence at its most disciplined. The next 10 minutes stretch thin with tension. Every vibration, every flicker on the radar seems louder than it should. Even the sea feels like it is waiting. Then something changes on the Seahawk's camera feed. "Bridge, they're tightening the gap again," the pilot warns. "Slightly, maybe 200 meters. "Hold course," the captain says. They make the next move. A long silence follows. Wind hums around the mast. Then the Chinese ships stop closing. No further pressure. No radar escalation. Just presence. 3 warships, 3 crews. 1 contested patch of sea. None willing to blink first. At 4:06 p.m. local time, after nearly 20 minutes of silent pressure, the USS John Finn and the 2 Chinese destroyers, Kunming and Changsha, remain locked in a quiet test of resolve. Then the radio crackles. A burst of Mandarin comes over VHF Channel 16. "You are entering waters under Chinese jurisdiction. Adjust your heading immediately." Inside the Combat Information Center, a dozen heads turn at once. The transmission is immediately logged, time-stamped, and archived. Seconds later, John Finn responds. Calm, precise, by the book. Chinese naval vessel. This is a United States warship conducting lawful operations in international waters in accordance with international law. Your actions are unsafe. Recommend you alter course immediately. Silence returns to CIC. Only the steady sweep of radar and the quiet pulse of the ship's ventilation fill the space. Then, gradually, something shifts. The wake behind the lead Chinese destroyer begins to shorten. Engines ease back. Speed drops from 26 to 22 knots. The second ship follows, matching the slowdown. Tactical confirms CPA widening to 3.2 nautical miles. Both vessels reducing speed. It's a small change, but a clear one. No signals, no dramatic moves. Just distance increasing and tension easing. From the Seahawk overhead, the pilot reports, lead destroyer slowing, wake pattern stable, formation opening. On the bridge, the captain studies the scene through binoculars, watching the ripples settle across the water. "That's their answer," he says quietly. "They made their point. So did we." The intensity fades, not through victory or retreat, but through mutual understanding. The kind that doesn't need words. At sea, even silence can carry meaning. 4:12 p.m. The Seahawk continues its orbit high above, sensors still recording. Through infrared, both Chinese ships begin turning north, their wakes angling away from John Finn's course. In CIC, the change is logged. Radar frequencies shift down from tracking bands to standard navigation. Emissions flatten, no longer probing, just moving on. Below deck, the crew feels it. Shoulders relax, breathing steadies, but discipline holds. Cameras keep recording. Logs continue to fill. Out here, information matters more than noise. The captain steps onto the bridge wing. The light has softened into late afternoon gold, reflecting across calm water. He watches the distant silhouettes of the Chinese ships and speaks almost to himself. Presence was the message. Patience was the shield. No applause follows. No celebration. Just a quiet understanding. Strength isn't always loud. 4:20 p.m. The Seahawk banks and returns to the flight deck. The sea settles back into rhythm, waves tapping against steel, engines humming steadily. Inside CIC, the final report scrolls across the screen. Encounter concluded. No contact, no escalation, mission complete. But everyone aboard knows it's never just one moment like this. It's part of a longer pattern, quiet standoffs shaping the balance of an entire region. Across the South China Sea, activity has been increasing. Satellite imagery from late September 2025 shows multiple naval formations operating near the Paracel Islands, not far from John Finn's patrol route. Subsurface movements have also been detected in the same area, marking one of the more active deployments in recent years. These moves are not random. They are calculated, designed to observe, gather information, and slowly shift what becomes normal at sea. For Washington, each transit like this becomes a statement. Not a challenge, but a reminder that freedom of navigation remains a principle, not a variable. John Finn's steady course wasn't just navigation, it was policy in motion, a signal that discipline matters and that restraint can be a form of strength. At 4:30 p.m., the captain gives the final order. Resume standard transit, secure from condition 2. And just like that, the ship exhales. The tension dissolves into open water, hours of silence, carrying the weight of nations. Out here, power isn't defined by who acts first, but by who stays in control. USS John Finn held her course. No sudden moves, no unnecessary escalation, no ustupik, because sometimes the strongest move at sea is restraint. But that leaves an open question. Should the U.S. Navy respond more assertively to situations like this, or continue showing that calm professionalism keeps things stable? Share your thoughts below. We read every comment. If you want more real-world maritime encounters like this, subscribe, turn on notifications, and stay with us. Your support helps bring these moments to light, turning complex situations into understanding and highlighting the quiet professionalism of those who operate where the world meets the sea. Because out here, even patience moves.